Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sim's YouTube channel, and welcome back to Elm Creek Farm. This is episode number 28, I do believe. And thanks for joining. I wanted to take just a few minutes at the top of the show to thank and welcome all of our brand new subscribers who have come into the Grizzly Bear Sims family. I consider all of my viewers, subscribers as friends. Very much appreciative that you have taken the time to click the subscribe button and, of course, click the like buttons on the videos, etc. That I post. Very, very much appreciative. And, of course, a very, very happy new year to each and every one. I know I have wished you all a happy new year before. However, every time I wished you all here on the channel a happy new year, I was still in the old year. And today, well, today is the very first day of the brand new year, 2022, January the 1st. It's early morning here. And of course, I managed to stay awake last night until 10 p.m. my local time. I'm in Colorado, so that was midnight on the East Coast. So that was as far as I could make it. I had woke up yesterday morning, New Year's Eve, quite early in the morning, and did not have time to uh, position myself on my lazy boy yesterday afternoon for a little nap. And I was just dog tired at 10 o'clock, and I told my wife, I said, are you going to stay up a little longer? And she says, well, probably only about 20 or 30 minutes. I said, I'm going to go upstairs and read a little bit, and I'll see you when you come upstairs. And so we were both probably asleep before 11 o'clock Mountain Time. That would have been midnight in Central Time Zone. So anyway, um, there's an old saying that I grew up sort of hearing. Some of my elders talking about, and I don't know if it's kind of just a southern thing. I grew up in Texas, or if it's kind of widely known across the U.S. and across the world. But essentially, the saying kind of goes like this: that kind of whatever you do on New Year's Day, you tend to do throughout the rest of the year. And of course, that was always an important thing to understand, because we certainly would not have wanted to work on New Year's Day, because you certainly wouldn't want to have to, even though you want to have the ability to work, you don't necessarily want to have to work every single day of the new year. But, and I think that's one of the reasons why I wanted to record an episode here on January 1st, 2022, at least my time, January 1st, 2022, and, um, and get an episode recorded, because that will I really have been enjoying being back to the channel. Now that I'm retired, I've got a lot more time on my hands, and I've got more time to enjoy these kind of things. And of course, gaming and recording videos and making those available to you on the channel has been something that has brought a lot of joy back into my life. And I'm very, very appreciative that it has been well received from you all, and many more, because of course I've always stated that I've appreciated all of my old friends that have been a part of the channel, a part of the Grizzly Bear Sims family for several years now. This will be my, let's see, this will be my sixth year. Yeah, sixth year of producing content, not on a regular basis, of course, because I took some time off. I've taken time off a lot, actually, but for the most part, that's always been kind of because trying to work 50, 60 hours a week in a pretty demanding, high pressure, high stress kind of environment has always been a little bit of a challenge in trying to run a channel, and making sure that I've got time for family, time for friends, time for other hobbies, because I enjoy doing a lot of different things in my life. And of course, I enjoy playing a lot of different simulation based games. It's not all just farming simulator, but with the debut of Farm Sim 22, I have really enjoyed my time with the game. I've enjoyed, as I have said countless times, I've enjoyed this map, and no, this map is not as great as I'm sure modded maps will be in the near, hopefully in the near future. There are several obviously modded maps out there available now. And I have looked at almost each and every one of them, to look and see if anything kind of catches my attention, if there's anything that I think I might want to bring to the channel. And even though, I always say never, because I sort of talked about the fact that wasn't sure I was going to play No Man's Land, wasn't sure I was going to play the really large North Dakota map, which I think is just too large for single player. But one thing that I have struggled with in the past, and I suppose I'm kind of smart enough to recognize some of my weaknesses when it comes to channel content creation, distribution, etc., is that in the past, I have not been very good at managing multiple farming simulator maps, because I you know, sort of play a map, you do some videos on a map, and I don't know if it's this way for some of my other content creation friends, um, but you spend time on a map like this one, for example, and you know what you need to do from kind of one video session to the next, and then if you're playing another map, or even some guys even juggle 2 and 3 different maps, let's plays, all kind of at the same time, and I take my hat off to those guys that can do that, because but maybe things will be different in kind of in retired life. It's possible that I might be able to manage and juggle a couple of couple being 2 different Let's Play series on the channel, but we will see. There's really nothing, even though I think of the maps that are available right now, and this is just my opinion, of the maps available right now, I think that No Man's Land is probably the best. It has fewer issues. There's some issues still with some of the other maps that have come out in recent days, recent weeks, I should say. And but I think for right now, at least for the foreseeable future, and that is kind of the next, several days from me, maybe looking into next week, I'm going to just stick with this. I know everyone is chomping at the bits to see other maps, and maybe those of you on my channel want to do that as well. But because there's only so many maps out there, a lot of the other content creators, and I know that you guys watch those guys, and I'm thankful that you do. Please continue to watch your favorite YouTube content creators playing the various maps, whatever those may be, and oops, let me slow down here just a minute, Jerry, and raise the header. And I know that you are watching those, and I want you to continue to do that. And so for me, I'm just going to trudge along here on Elm Creek and kind of do what we do, because I'm having fun with it. And again, kind of while Elm Creek may not be as nice as some of the modded maps that will be coming out, it is a joy for me to play, and that's what's most important. And if I can, if I'm enjoying it, then I can kind of keep a storyline, and hopefully keep you guys engaged enough with stuff that we're doing here on this farm, the kind of the role play stuff, so that you guys understand what's going on with my hired workers and the B&B and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, enough about that. I don't think this video will be very long. I really just wanted to bring this corn in, and it is available. Of course, we chopped those 2 fields right there with chaff corn for our silage. Silage should be ready some point in this game day, and because we've got quite a large amount of chaff, I told you I managed to get just shy of 300,000 liters off of those 2 fields, and I'm pretty sure that our need for this next year, this next gaming year, until we get back into the ability to chop more corn, we only need about 100 and maybe about 150,000 liters or so of silage to be able to make it through that period. And the same was more or less applied with hay and also with straw. And that's why we didn't worry about collecting straw on the big wheat field. And of course, some might be wondering, well, why did I not bale that straw and sell it, or pick the straw up in the forage harvester and sell that loose? And it was really just about economics, efficiencies, and time, and economics and everything. I would have had to have purchased a baler or leased a baler, and I don't really think that you could get your money back from leasing a baler to bale, even though that would have probably produced quite a bit of straw bales. I don't think that the return on investment would have been there. And because we're not really doing anything with baling on this series, this map right now, anyways, I didn't see the need to do that. So I think what I'm going to do is we will sell off some of the silage. We've talked to the folks at the animal dealer, which is just right next to us. So we won't have a whole lot of expense in carting that from our silage bunker to the animal dealer, and we will sell that silage there at least down to about, well, we will at least sell down to 200,000 liters, where we have 200,000 liters in the silo. And then we'll look at maybe whether or not we might let that go down to 150,000 liters. It kind of depends on what they need, and kind of what we have and everything that we have going on. But that will generate a little bit of cash for us. Um, I think I think I'm going to be happy. I think I'm going to be happy with what we're getting off of off of the grapes. I really, really am. I went over there and talked to the grape processing unit guys, and sort of asked them, hey, what kind of yields are you getting, and what are the quality of grapes? And they gave me a sample. They were running grape juice from my harvest, from our harvest here on Elm Creek, and it tastes really nice. And they gave me a few raisins, and of course the wine is going to be fermenting and all of that. So that's going to be a little bit of time before we see that and can taste that. But I think it's going to be worth the effort, and maybe so much so that maybe it might be a wise choice for me to keep my eye open for maybe a used grape harvester, if something like that comes available in the store. So we'll keep an eye on that and see how that goes. But I think, and again, we're just going to have to, well, we'll have to see what happens when it comes right down to the the nuts and bolts of when we get ready to sell the grape juice and the raisins, exactly what kind of pricing that we get. I really don't want to store, I don't want to have to warehouse this very long. Thankfully, the prices look to be on the high side in the mid-October, November timeframe. So I really think if they can hurry up and get this run done, and get the grapes produced into grape juice and raisins, and of course the little bit left over that we're going to use for wine for the B&B and sell and such, that I think we're going to be able to get the maximum price for the product without having to warehouse it for a long time. Now, of course, we are siloing our grain and such, that we are, that we're taking off our fields, and we're doing that so that we can get the maximum value for our harvests. And so we will continue with that sort of, philosophy, if you will, and just kind of see how things go. So it will be some time before we sell corn, and of course sell the other things that we have in our silo. We probably, because we have quite a bit of wheat, we probably will sell some of that wheat down as well, because really the only thing that we need the wheat for is obviously the mill to produce flour. And I've told you before, as I have said before, and it's still the case today, the mill is backlogged. The mill is backlogged because the bakery just cannot produce bread quick enough to keep up with the production cycles of the mill. And that is not as profitable. Of course, selling flour would be more profitable than selling the grain or obviously selling the bread is more profitable. But again, there's no need to necessarily backlog things in such a way that it's going to take so long to get through that silo of wheat, because we don't want to run the risk of it going bad, getting damaged in some way. And so I'm kind of thinking that we will probably sell down some of that wheat when the price is right for us to do that. So we're just going to kind of keep moving the chains along on this series, on this Let's Play, try to make as much money as we possibly can, and get a little bit of a running start into the next planting season, because as I've said before, we do want to expand. We want to pick up a couple of extra fields. We're obviously going to be combining fields here, and I think I've got that plan down, and I think it's going to work out well for us. One other thing, this is kind of uh, matches up with role play, but also some of the comments that I've made in the past about some of these extra steps that are required with FarmSim 22 to get the maximum yield credits and all that sort of stuff. I went back in yesterday and I was watching Millennial Farmer, which I think is one of my favorite um, real life farming YouTube channels in the YouTube world. And I was watching some of his stuff, and I decided, well, I'm going to go back and see what he says about rolling, because I try to do things as realistic as possible, and I've got a little bit of experience in farming. I've worked at my friend's dairy for a little while back in high school, and such as that, and of course. Um, Picked up hay and all of that stuff as a young person. And I like to try to do things as realistic as possible, based on what I know, based on the limitations of this simulation-based game and everything. So long story short is I was watching his videos, and they do roll. And he made a comment in one of the videos where he was actually rolling soybean field after it had been planted, and he said rolling is not his favorite thing to do. It's probably his one of his least favorite things to do, because it's kind of boring. It does go quick, he did say. Um, but the point that he made that really caught my attention was the fact that he can, and I mean, he's been farming soybeans and corn long enough that he basically can tell when a field has been rolled versus when a field has not been rolled when it comes time to harvesting. And so that just kind of perked my ears up, and I'm thinking, okay, well, if they do it, and because it really doesn't take a whole lot of time, it's a pretty fast process. That is, we are going to incorporate that. So with the help of George sometimes, and the help of Bo and myself, we will be rolling our seeds into the soil after we seed, to try to get that maximum yield bonus. So just so you all are aware, field number 11, which was the field that we planted canola seeds in, and I realize that we've done that two seasons in a row, but I explained all of that in the previous video. We did go ahead and um, cultivate well, you saw it on video. We cultivated the oilseed radish in. We applied slurry, so that gave us our 100% yield bonus right there. And then we seeded new canola seeds into the ground, and we also rolled those seeds in, and we also sprayed herbicide, because, as I've said before, that's going to kind of be our process and what we're going to do to try to mitigate weeds altogether. Because again, that's kind of something um, that from the videos that I've watched of Millennial Farmer, that is something that they are doing, proactively, instead of waiting for weeds to appear. And I've never heard him talk about using a weeder type implement. If I've missed those videos, then if you've got a link or something, leave it in the show notes for me, and I'll take a look at it. But I've never heard him talk about that. And I think just based on the scale of type of farming that they're doing, They're probably not doing the weeding, but they are doing the rolling. I know that, so we're going to be incorporating that into our process and procedures, and of course, preventive, proactively, and using it for preventive measures. We will spray after we put the seeds down because, again, that's kind of what I've heard him say. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, as I said this was going to be a short video on the shorter side, and it is going to be. We will probably off camera, probably go ahead and do what we need to do to that field, that cornfield up there that we've just harvested, to get that field in a state where it's got oilseed radish on it and it's ready to go, which means we need to plow that field because it's had corn on it, and we will do that off camera. And when we come back together for whatever game day we're going to be in, then that will most likely be done. And then we still have technically 3 fields to harvest. We've got 2 fields of soybean, one here at the main farm, one over by the greenhouses, and we have a field of those sunflowers that my wife wanted planted so that she can look at those, and we've got those to bring in. They're not ready right now, so they should be ready mid-October time frame, and we'll get that done here on the channel. And I just appreciate each and every one of you all, and I truly hope, and this is a wish for all of us, all of humanity. I hope that 2022 is the year that we really start to see some significant change as we move out of the past 2 darker years that we have spent, all of us together under the coronavirus COVID-19 shadow, if you will. And I hope that we start to see some evidence of that subsiding, and we can all get on with our lives a little bit better, that the vaccines are more effective if you're doing those, and we can just all come together as a community, as a world population, and have peace and happiness and friendship throughout 2022. Thank you all for watching again, and I will see you right back here on Elm Creek Farms. And this is Jerry Grizzly Bear Sims wishing you all a happy new year. Bye for now.